Alrighty, Venture Season 14 technically is already out. You've probably already either gotten halfway through or almost done. If you're not, well, you're slacking because we're already level 15 and we're already done. Now you're probably questioning, Mattio, what loadouts do you use to get through Venture so quickly? Well, you've came to the right video because today we are going to be talking about the loadouts that I use during Ventures. Now, before we get into actual loadout itself, let me explain the season and the entirety of what it is. It's called Escalation. That is the modifier for the season, and they basically every 30 eliminations cause a kind of an effect to happen. There's like dancing, there's an explosion, there's like a stun one. It's a very casual season. You barely notice any of this like going on. The 30 eliminations is just very casual. You will not notice it unless if you're grinding certain enemies. We've had a major problem, like whenever we were grinding, we had a problem trying to eliminate certain enemies because the explosion would go off and eliminate the entire encampment. It was a whole thing, but sometimes you notice it, most of the time you don't. So yeah, that's basically the rundown on Escalation and the modifier for this season. So try to have fun with this season. But the loadouts actually this season are very casual. They're loadouts that I would use on a daily basis in 160s or doing V-Buck missions and whatnot. So yeah, let's just jump right into it, actually. So we're starting off right here. This is my Dragon Scorch loadout. I use this usually whenever I'm trying to eliminate enemies really quick, or I just need to speedrun missions and, you know, just eliminate like certain types of enemies. Like if we were doing an encampment mission, I'd be using this and just going through the encampments. If I need to eliminate Husklings or just basic Husk, I'd use this. This is a high damage loadout. You know, Dragon Slash is just overall really good, especially in any Venture season. But in any loadout, actually, I mean, you don't see it in 160s, but overall, you'll probably see this. But let's go through it. So the Dragon Scorch loadout that I was using is this one right here. So you're, of course, going to run Dragon Scorch and Lead, which increases your Dragon Slash range to 3 tiles and your width to 2 tiles and the damage by 25%, which is noticeable. And then, of course, you're going to be running Happy Holidays, which reduces your ability cooldowns by 40%. So you're going to be Dragon Slashing like every 3-4 seconds if you time it right. And then, of course, we got decreases Dragon Slash energy cost by 30%, which is Return of the Dragon. Fuel for the Fallen, so and more eliminations restore our energy, 6 energy over 3 seconds, which is really good because you're going to be spamming your energy whenever it comes to Dragon Slash, so it works out. And then Tear of the Dragon, Dragon Slash leaves behind an Energized Trail, which deals 26 base energy damage per second. So this one's really good. So once you Dragon Slash, the enemies that are following you behind will take damage, and it's, you know, will eliminate those enemies. I kind of see this as like kind of like an affliction thing. Like you do damage and then they're afflicted by the energy trail that you're leaving behind. So it's actually really good. And then this one's kind of iffy. Fleet you can run. He just increases your movement speed. Now, depending on what missions you're running, like encampment missions, eliminate and collect, you'll probably be running Fleet because you want to get everywhere and fast, move just everywhere. But you can swap this out for pretty much anything. If you need melee eliminations, you could run Paley Luna. If you need to do shotgun eliminations, you can run that. But Dragon Scorch is literally more based around just getting the enemies killed right away with, you know, the Dragon Slash. So you could really put anything in here, but Fleet was what I was running. And then the final thing is actually Medical Fumes. Now this one also can be swapped out. I actually, Archer recommended me using this because it heals your allies for 10 base health per second. So encampment missions sometimes get hard because of the Ventures. You don't have good weapons. So you can just throw this down and it heals your allies, and it also heals you too. So it works out. And then, of course, gadgets are really up to you. I talk about them every once in a while, or, you know, in these videos occasionally. But, you know, I usually run Adrenaline Rush and turrets. But usually if I'm running like a farming loadout, I'm going to be running Supply Crate. So I usually run that most of the time. But for Dragon Scorch, I'm in and out of missions, so I don't need to be running something that like a farming stuff. So yeah, and then let's move on to the next loadout. So this is probably my number 1 loadout that I use throughout the season. This is one that you should use, and just overall really good. Now there's 2 different combinations that you can run. In the earlier zones, I love having my minigun constantly over a minigun that does more damage because you're going to be eliminating enemies. You need those eliminations to get that extra XP. Like, you know, eliminated 100 Husklings. You know, you're going to be wanting to kill more enemies, you know, faster than, you know, you're going to be wanting to eliminate more enemies with your minigun faster, not like over time, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it. But the loadout, the one that I was using early game, so you would swap out, this is an Xbox exclusive, but going again is just, I think it's base game, but this is my Xbox exclusive one. But Going Commando, it is decreased by 30%. You could run this in lead and it would just give you a regular minigun and it's like a 5-second cooldown. And that was like basically what I was running the entire time. And then space technology, I would swap that out for any eliminations. Like if I needed shotgun eliminations, I would put like any shotgun related thing. If I need melee eliminations, I would put a melee one. So yeah, it's Spitfire Commando. Thank you. Yeah, that's what you would be running in lead. Now I swapped over once I got to like the 80 zones or like around that, wherever minigun was just not enough. Like, you know, this physical minigun was not doing anything. I would switch over to diecast, which turns your minigun into energy, which is really great. Energy destroys enemies. It killed mini boss pretty fast if it was not a tank, because we got a lot of tanks or trap vulnerable, which was weird. But yeah, so it increases your going commander damage by 50%, and it changes your damage type to energy, which is really great against any other husk besides, or every husk besides physical. I mean, physical anyways, they're not that strong anyway, so it eliminate them pretty fast anyways. But yeah, you're gonna be running Happy Holidays for the reduced ability cooldown. Going again, once again, you would run this in support if you weren't running him in lead, and then diecast would swap out between the two. And then we got first cup of the day, which while Gun Commander is activated, increases your crit rating by 10 and crit damage by 100%. So you're guaranteed critting the entire time. Survivalist you can swap out. I only do this because I just need base or that base health to go up every time I eliminate an enemy. It's not really noticeable sometimes, but you know, it's better than, you know, not running it. Now Survivalist, I have the birthday hero one, but there is the regular Survivalist one, which I think I have him somewhere. Yeah, I think it's like Rex Jonesy, I'm pretty sure, or yeah, it's this one right here, I think, something like that. Or no, that's Story and Might. There's another Survivalist, but I got the birthday one. And then Space Technology, this is increases your ability energy damage by 15.5%. This one can swap out. Like I said, you can run, if you're trying to get a melee elimination, shotgun eliminations, AR eliminations, anything like that, especially during adventure season, you're going to be wanting to run one of those heroes that give you that bonus damage extra. So, but I put Space Technology in because she increases your ability energy damage. So, you know, once again, if diecast is in lead, you're going to have that ability energy minigun that you're running. So it's increased by 15.5% on top of the other stack, the crit rating and whatnot. So it's actually really good. You do notice it, by the way. So if you swap her in and out, you know, over time, you will notice it. But yeah, and then Ain't Done Yet, which is increasing your commander duration by 5 seconds. You do notice that. So yeah, so the cooldown is around 27 seconds. So I'd use this around like 80 zones, maybe like 72, I think, just about. So that's what I would swap out. And then Adrenaline Rush, I'd like to run with this loadout just because I need the extra health, because, you know, as a minigun runner, you would pretty much die half the time if you're really up in the enemy's face. And then turrets, just run turrets. Now yeah, but yeah, this was the main loadout that I usually ran throughout the season, and the one that I used the most. And the next up, we have Clip. Now this is the farming loadout. You could literally use any farming loadout. I put Clip in the lead just because I need more materials and I like having extra stuff. It doesn't apply to like brick, metal, or wood, but it does apply to any other materials like, you know, mechanical parts, stringed twine, like all that stuff. So she increases the anti-material charge. It has a 100% chance to drop more ingredients. So you can run Clip and lead. Now, some people have different loadouts. This is the one that I use. This is basically the Clip loadout. You got Blast from the Past. You got Work, which increases your pickaxe damage by 17%. I ran Phase Shift cooldown or just phased out because I just wanted to move faster and just farm faster. And then, of course, Story and Focus, which when you're running Blast from the Past, it gives you the energy over time, which is really good if you're farming. And then Strike Cost, so I can punch with more damage. And then Story and Hide just for extra armor, because that's like the only other Blast from the Past team perk hero that I could use. And then with this one, I'm going to be running Supply Drop because I want the more materials if I need to farm. And then I think I ran Slow Field because this is what I use. I think we just farm missions, so I just throw a Slow Field when I needed to. But you can swap this out for like turrets or, you know, anything that you think that you would need. But yeah, I would not use Adrenaline Rush while using Blast from the Past, by the way. But yeah, that's my farming loadout. And then next up we have Paleo Luna. This is the melee the melee one that I used. If you need melee eliminations, axe, you know, stuff like that, this is one that I use. So Paleo Luna basically is in the lead. She increases your damage the more health you have. That's pretty much what she does. And then you're going to run Blast from the Past. You got Monster Smash, which is life leech. Basically, the more you eliminate, the more health you get back. And then Assassination, which basically your melee weapon damage grants you 1 stack of Assassination up to 5 stacks. And Assassination lasts 5 seconds and increases your melee weapon damage by 4.5%. Corrosive Strikes, which melee critical hits apply 30% snare. And Affliction, which deals 37% of base dealt each second for 3 seconds. She's really great. And I think she's one of the more important ones that you should have. I used to have an epic copy, but I think I just flexed her up because I just wanted the extra health. And then Saurian Hide and Saurian Instinct, these are really optional. I just want more shield because, you know, or more armor because I'm going to be in fighting with melee weapons. And then Saurian Instinct, whenever I use my abilities like Kunai or Crescent Kick or my Smoke Bomb, I'm going to be getting a little more health back. So yeah. And of course, I'm going to be running Adrenaline Rush because the more health that I have, the more damage I'm going to do. So you're going to always want to run that. And then Stationary Turrets. You can swap this out with Supply Drop if you need to, but I ran turrets. So yeah. But yeah, that was the melee eliminations, one that I needed to use. So yeah. And then next up, we have the final loadout, which is just a basic constructor loadout. Now, everyone runs a different one. My one that I used was mostly base Kyle. Sometimes I would swap it out for Ice King, but it really depends. This one's really up to you. Most people know what a constructor loadout looks like. I usually run recycling because I like having as much mats as possible in ventures because you run out very fast if you're doing missions back to back. But yeah, this is basically the basic loadout that you can run. You don't have to run I think you don't have to run like Ice King or anything. You could literally put if you need to do launcher damage, you could run faster explosions. If you want more armor, you can run bomb suit. It really doesn't matter as long as you have those constructors and support. But I'd always recommend running Mega Base and Electrified Floors because sometimes you need those eliminations and they count. Like Takers taking damage from Electrified Floors sometimes count, and it just works over time. So yeah. And then of course I'm going to be running Slow Field and Adrenaline Rush. You can swap out Adrenaline Rush with a Supply Drop, but I like Adrenaline Rush, helping my team, you know, get back up and whatnot. So yeah, but yeah, those are all the loadouts that I use throughout Ventures. If you guys want a video on how Venture grind goes and like what missions I do over other missions, or what XP that we look for, or how we get the XP, or just how in general we finish Ventures within like 32 hours, let me know. I'm down to do that video. But let me know down in the comments. Let me know what loadouts you use. If I'm missing any loadouts that you think are really strong for this Venture season. Otherwise, that is it for the video. Remember, subscribe if you haven't already. Notifications if you guys want to keep updated on any other Save the World content or BR content, because I do cover challenges and just overall anything Battle Royale. So yeah, otherwise, you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you guys in the next one.